Good evening. Just say good evening. Good morning. That's how tired I am still for some reason. Uh, a lot to discuss today. First of all, very excited to start this new show, new endeavor. Um, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'll be actually this show. Obviously, it's already been hard to kind of find time to do it, so it will be. It won't probably be on a consistent schedule, but I'll try to do it at least. I would say 2 or 3 times a month. So I'm very excited for it, and I hope that you guys are also. We got one beer going on right now, so I'm very excited about that. I am actually waiting for former President Thomas McCarthy to join us, and then we'll really dive right into the show. But any comments or questions you have, go ahead and leave them in the comment section, and we'll talk to you about it. And there's a lot to discuss on tpon so far. We got the Republican presidential primary for the most part being done, and now we have a interesting ticket in. I think one that is probably one of the better ones that the Republican Party has put out in a long time for sure. Um, Even last term when I was on it, it obviously was not the best ticket. So good old times. I've got a house run now. Very excited about that with current Representative Murphy. It's going to be close. It's going to be a tight one. I think it's going to be a pretty good race, and I look forward to it. Um, and we're going to talk about really a lot more, and really just the term overall, and kind of evaluate, you know, this term so far and the way the governing has gone, and see, you know, does President Meyer, I guess, does she deserve a second term? It's the biggest question going to be this election, and we'll see.
Yo,
And there
boy, can you hear
goes,
me?
yeah, I can, I got you. There goes
Oh,
the
sweet.
former president, Mr. McCarthy, has joined us.
Are we live right now?
Yeah, we are live. We are live.
Oh, yeah.
We'll
Oh,
start.
sweet.
Yep. Well, let's get started. I was kind of waiting on you to really start talking about stuff, anyways. So how you been, man? It's been a while since we talked.
Oh, I've been good. I've been good. Just getting around T-Pond, just seeing how everything's going. How about you?
Uh, Pretty good myself. I obviously had an interesting time as president of Russia. That was a very interesting experience. And now I'm back in the States. Got a house run going on, uh,
Nice.
and big part of the Wellington campaign. I'm very excited about that going forward. And we actually, the first thing I wanted to talk about was your thoughts on Wellington Capone. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a good, strong ticket. It's probably the strongest ticket that I've seen in a while. I mean, next, it's probably even comparable to my ticket with EST and EST Easterly. I think this is a good ticket. I think this is the most conservative ticket, really, since I think Rose's ticket, Rose and Caldrum, they were pretty conservative, and this is, I think, just as a strong conservative ticket as we can possibly put up. And both I know both these guys. They're hard workers. They're active. They are truly bipartisan. I know that Teapot's having a good debate right now about what exactly is bipartisanship. What is partisanship? What do we know anything anymore? I don't know, but still, I mean, these guys are wonderful, and I know they're going to do a great job.
I'm very excited for it because my biggest thing is this is the ticket to me. I think this is the dream ticket. I think for Republicans, I think it's like if we lose this one, then who can win? You know, because I mean this is probably one of the better tickets we put up in a long time, and I think that even though we're going up against an incumbent president, there are benefits and downfalls to that. But
Mhm.
I think we're in a good position, and we'll see. I think party unity is a big thing. I think we have that with this ticket,
Mhm.
uh, and I think we have probably some Democrats, there's no doubt in my mind, there's probably some Democrats out there that's looking at this election and saying, all right, who do I vote for? Because I'm sure that they're probably a little bit, conflicted within themselves to vote for a Republican ticket, which is a great ticket. So how about this term as a whole? Really, I just want to talk about it. And at the beginning of the broadcast, I said, the biggest thing about this election is going to be, does President Meyer deserve a second term? And what do you think about that as far as how she's done so far?
Well, again, that's going to be up to the voters to decide if Meyer gets the second term. I mean, I have my own preference, and you have your preference, and everyone else has their own preference. But I mean, from what I've seen, and I mean, I haven't looked at all of Meyer's posts, and I haven't seen every single bill that Meyer has signed. But like, I mean, generally, like Meyer campaigned on moving tpon forward, and to me, it's like we haven't really moved the needle so much. I mean, from what I've seen, though, Meyer has signed some pretty good bills, and I mean, some of them were even my ideas that I just never was able to get enacted because my second term was unfortunately cut a little bit short.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the Meyer-Cromwell administration has not done what they said they're going to do. I mean, there's still plenty of partisanship in DC to go around, and I mean, both sides are guilty of it. And I mean, Meyer's also pushed some very liberal policies. Meyer Care, which was they tried pushing it. I think it failed in the Senate, or did it even pass the House? I don't know the current status on it, but I know it failed.
Yeah, it's been an interesting term, and it's funny because I've kind of been out of American politics for a second in tpon. I've obviously kept a close eye on the Meyer administration, though, and I think there are some weak points that that Representative Wellington can attack them on. I think the key is going to be assuring that he keeps Republicans behind him 100%. Because I think if we have any split in the party, we end up losing this election. And and though it could be a small split, I've seen it in the past like 2 or 3 elections now, where if the Republican Party is divided, there's no way they win. There's no way they win. I think you saw it in '68 with Goldberg. I think you definitely saw it in '72. I mean, not 72, but I think you saw it in '66.
You mean 64?
64 with President Est, who some will say was a little disconnected from the Republican Party at that time. So, I think it's a unity thing. I think if we're unified, I think we win this election.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it's like if Republicans are divided, we never win. And I mean, like, even if it's a small split, like it was in '64, you had I think a handful of Republicans that went over to Trent, and that proved to be the deciding factor because that election was decided by 2 votes. But I mean, with what I did when I ran for president twice, excuse me, was that I was able to bring about party unity. And I mean, that was also because I was an attractive candidate. I reached out to all the sub factions we have in the party, and I was able to unite. It's like, okay, guys, look, you may not 100% like me. You may think I'm a jerk or whatever. You may not even agree with some of my policies, but for a fact that I'm the right leader, and that I can do what I said I've done because I have the record, and that I can win us this election. And also, I did have also remember in 56 and 60 was the Democrats that were divided, because Landolph was really far left, and Ruzick was arguably, he was more conservative than me on a lot of fronts, actually. And it kind of like that, but the Democrats seemed to have gotten their act together when they put up Trent, even though that was a pretty close election. And Goldberg, I mean, he shot himself in the foot. So, I mean, I think prior to that, the race was pretty even before that. I mean, I didn't look at all the polls, but I think that race was pretty even up until Goldberg shot himself in the foot. And when all those floods of Republican endorsements went to Meyer, I knew that, yeah, it's over.
Yeah, it was a rough one, and that I thought it ruined my political career. But I guess we'll see if I try to make a bounce back here in this House race. We'll see if that
Well, hey, one of the good things about tpon is that like even if you lose a race like I have in the past, like you can still make amends for yourself. It's not like the end of the world if you lose a race. I mean, you can always like just take a step back, take a breather like I did, just like get back and try to put forth your message, and that's what I'm doing by trying to run for D3 Senate. I'm not running for me though. I'm running for to like show like what an actual senator needs to do because that place has been a mess even before I got there. So I'm gonna hopefully try to fix it up as best I can.
I agree with you on that. And let's talk about a little elephant in the room. And obviously, this is I got you on the show, and I got to bring up this guy.
Oh, great.
You probably know who I'm talking about, but Senator Morecraft. Let's talk about him a little bit.
I haven't heard of him, honestly. I haven't heard of him.
Obviously, you have self-proclaimed Alex Jones of tpon, and one of your main I guess targets would be Senator Morecraft.
I mean, I gave up that. I stopped doing that, like all the rants and stuff. Like I said what I wanted to say. I got it off my chest, and then I did that.
A lot of people are attacking him for his House and Senate endorsements, which I honestly am the type of person where I think endorsements, when they're this far back from the election, no one's going to remember them by election day. So,
well, if I remember right, it's the election is 16, 17, 18, and inauguration's on the 20th, right?
Yeah.
So if they start on the 16th, so that's if I'm doing my math right, that's 11 days from now. So it's like almost 2 weeks from now.
Exactly, and by 2 weeks in tpon, a lot happens. So I think that's why people always ask me for endorsements. I like I wait till closer to the election. I mean, literally, I'm gonna wait probably like 2 or 3 days before.
Yeah, I haven't made too many endorsements myself. I mean, unless I've seen like a standout candidate like Dyer for New Jersey governor or Lehman for D13 Senate or obviously the presidential race. I mean, yeah, I'll endorse them ahead of time, but like, I mean, yeah, I'll probably do what you're doing, wait closer to the election to make all my endorsements.
It's normally the best way to do it because those endorsements will be fresh on the voters' minds. And but Senator Morecraft, I think, is for the most part, I made up with him after 68. I think 68 was an ugly time. We kind of disconnected. I don't, I think there was probably some bitterness between him and Goldberg, and that kind of rubbed off on me a little bit. And I don't, that's just how it went. That's what happens when you're the running mate of a candidate. You have to stick with them, even with all their allies and enemies. And so, it's an interesting career he's had, and I think the biggest thing is the whole party loyalty thing comes into play.
Right.
And I don't know. The R in his bio makes you wonder: is it really? Does it belong there?
Well, I mean, here's what I think, and Morecraft is entitled to endorse whoever he wants for whatever race. That's fine. I don't mind that he's endorsing Democrats, but what I have an issue is this: he said privately and publicly repeatedly he wants he wants a Republican majority, and he obviously wants a Republican president. But the thing is, like, he says that, then he endorses majority Democrats for Senate and House. Like, here's imagine this scenario. Imagine every single congressional race was tied. Never happened before, but just imagine if it was tied. And Morecraft just was the last vote, and he'd get to decide the vote. If he did that, he would decide he would have Democratic majority if he had it his way. So the thing is, like, I understand though that he says he wants Republicans in control, but yet he turns around and endorses Democrats. Unfortunately, he's been doing that his entire career. Unfortunately, ever since really I've gotten here, and I don't know if he's been doing it before, but he's been doing it for a long time, basically. And here's the thing, even like my last race is you guys know Matthew Brodsky. He was my primary opponent in the D3 special election when I believe it was Taylor. He resigned to take up a role, or it was VP, I remember. And Morecraft, obviously he pushed Brodsky. I beat Brodsky in the primary, and then then Moorcraft turned around and endorsed Beckett, even though privately Moorcraft is showing me I have your support. Then what he did with Brodsky, then Brodsky decided to like make another run for the scene. He endorsed Beckett. So it's like he plays both sides constantly. He will like turn around from Democrats and he'll turn around from Republicans. And I think that people are starting to like catch on that, you know, what Moorcraft is doing is unfortunately a scam. Now, obviously, I'm running my own race against Billings, and you know Moorcraft's running his own race against Governor, and the voters are going to hold him accountable there, and they'll hold me and Billings accountable in our own race.
I think for the most part, you look at how kind of the middle of term, it seemed like a lot of Republicans kind of came up against him. I, on the other hand, I'm the type of person where I'm not going to really attack anybody. I kind of hang back, just watch it happen. I'm that guy that's probably video in the fight. But I take notes and I note things. I make sure I remember things. And you know, looking forward, we'll see. You know, his career in tpon, I think, is coming to an end. So you know, I hope that he wants to be remembered as a great, you know, conservative leader like he, you know, claims to be, and I guess we'll see how it ends. So, the last few things I want to talk about is actually our different races. So you're running for D13 Senate, all right?
D3 Senate.
Senate. Okay, so how's that race going for you?
I think it's going well. I think it's going a lot better than my previous race for D3 House went. I mean, the difference is that for D3 House, like I came more fresh off, like as like someone that was wounded and who was not. And at the time I was not really a great candidate. Maybe I shouldn't have run. Maybe I should have waited for everyone to for me to cool off. And I decided to make the run for the House seat, like at the encouragement of some of my closest allies. And I mean, I did pretty well in the primary, but like I mean, I didn't campaign as much as I probably should have. And obviously, when you have like third-party candidates in the race, it obviously doesn't really help your chances. And I mean, I did lose that race by 4 votes ultimately, but like here, the thing is, like I think for this race, it's a one-on-one race with me and Billings. And the thing is also like Beckett was brand new, and like you know, as tpon, we're kind of like more welcome. The good thing now is like we're more welcoming to giving new members a chance, which I'd love to see. But like the thing is, like me and Billings are more established people. Like we've been here longer. Like everyone knows who Billings is. And I mean, like, and like we're both campaigning, and like we've both done variety of speeches. You can check out my speeches. You can check out his speeches. And you know, we've each laid out our vision, and we'll let the voters decide who they want to be as their next senator. But I've laid out a path that's like different from what Senator Moorcraft has provided us over the like his time in the Senate is representing D3, and I'm going to be a much more different leader. I'm going to actually work across the aisle, not just say, "Oh, I'm bipartisan." I mean, I actually have a record of doing it, even when I was in the House, even as I was Speaker, and even as I was President. I've been able to truly actually work across the aisle. I do know what the issues are, and I know what's at stake in this election, the presidential election, and whoever wins, I'm going to have to work with, whether it's Meyer for another term, or if it's going to be a new Republican administration. I'm going to be happily working across them, working with them.
You know, I look forward to it myself. You know, I do like I always do, and that is I make sure that I have a job either way at tpon where I can have a position secured with both presidential candidates, and I have an election going on. So if I lose that, I'm good either way. If I win that, you know, so it's I like to make sure I have a job. That's normally what I tell people to do. And you know, I don't make any promises that I to either candidate. I just ask for a job, and they look at my experience, and normally that's what happens. So looking forward to my race. I'm very excited about it. I mean, Representative Murphy, I think for the most part, you know, he did the post about explaining his inactivity, but I think the biggest things is he hasn't communicated well with the governors, which is a law in tpon. And you look at, I spoke with both governors, and Governor Olmer, I don't know how you say his name.
I think I just think it's Omer.
Omer, Governor Omer of Kentucky is really the biggest one. He's a libertarian. He's someone that I align with, but he's also told me a lot of issues that he needs congressional and federal help with. He's done his best, and he just his representative has not been able to get to him. His senator, has not been able to help him out either. I don't know who that is, but you know, there are some great people in that race. Hope that they win.
Yeah, what district are you? What district are you running in?
D9 House, so that's Indiana and Kentucky.
I don't know who the senator is off the top of my head for that area.
I'll probably look it up, but I mean, this election, there's really about 2 or 3 Republicans that are running in both because Indiana and Kentucky are in separate Senate districts, and so my district is the only one that has them both in it. So I'm able to work with 2 Senate candidates and obviously the governors at the same time. So I look forward to it. I hope that those senators get elected because I think we need some conservative leadership and some right-minded leadership, I'd say. I, for the most part, I'm a libertarian, but I lean a little right, obviously. So I hope that race goes well.
Thanks.
I think I have a pretty good shot. I think there are some weaknesses in my opponent, but I look forward to the campaign. Hopefully, a great, clean campaign. I've gotten
I hope you
help
win.
from both sides of the aisle for this election. I've gotten support from both sides of the aisle, so we'll see. I look forward to it, though.
Yeah, I hopefully we'll get to be in Congress together.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Well, that looks like that's going to be about it for us. Unless there's anything else you want to maybe bring up, Mr. McCarthy.
Not that I can think of.
All right, then. Well, this has been Perspective with Austin Boyd. I got the wonderful former President McCarthy on with me today, and I'm looking forward to see what happens this term. We got a heck of a presidential election, I think, this term, and we have some pretty good congressional matchups. So I look forward to it. I hope you all do too. The big thing is getting out on the 18th and voting. So until then, I'll see you guys later next time. Not quite sure when the next show will be, but you guys will know first, I'm sure. So I will see you all later. And President McCarthy, I don't know if you want to give a little goodbye.
Thanks for having me on, Boyd. Best of luck to your house race and best of luck to my race. And I'll just give you a little shout out here. Like, this man, Boyd, has been a fantastic cabinet member. He was the awesome Homeland Secretary. He set the standard for what it means to be a Secretary of State. Activity, dedication. It's something I haven't seen in a Secretary of State in a long time. And even though like my previous Secretary of State, I think it was Alavito who was the Secretary of State, he was pretty good, but you definitely set the standard for what a Secretary of State is and needs to do. And if you want someone in the House that's going to be just as hard worker, I think you're going to be the man. And like me also. But I'm giving you the shout out here, so.
And I think that hopefully Senator McCarthy will be a great one. I think he'll be good for that district and for those people. And get some things done over there in that Senate that's been a little bit slow lately. So we'll see. But anyways, this will be the end of this stream, and you guys can always go back and look at it whenever you want to. So thanks to everybody that watched, and we'll see you next time.